Hey everyone, I am Send. I am a multi-set Challenger TFT player. I'm currently Challenger on NA. This is my NA LoL chess. And I am about 50 LP off Challenger in EU West, but I've been Challenger many sets in EU West. This is my first set playing NA as well. Before we get into the tier list, this is the tier list for the new patch, so 14.2. It is a new patch to note, so there are some things that might be wrong in this tier list, but this is just from what I've played, how I feel about things, and I'll show you each comp and how I feel, but I'll go from B to A and then S. B, I've got Annie Reroll, Seraphine Reroll, Jazz Reroll, so you Bard and MF, Ari, so 7 KDA or like the 5 KDA flex, 7/5 Pentakill with Viego. My A tiers, I have Yasuo Reroll, Olaf Reroll, Kayle Reroll, Jinx is Punk, the Punk comp, Lulu Reroll, and the 6 Executioner Vex or the Twin Terror comp. And then situationally, I have, if you hit Twin Terror, this is the Twitch Twin Terror comp. Jax, very situational. If you hit a very good Ornn item, I would play at Jax. So for example, Zhonya's. And Yon and Riven, a lot harder to hit now with the headliner update. So I put them in situational. I wouldn't play them unless I had the right items and I naturaled 4 or 5 Riven or Yones on my way to level 7 when I did my roll down. And then in S, I have 80 flex. So this is the level 8 comp, level 9, level 8 comp that is dominating the ladder at the moment. It is hard steal mid-game, which is pretty much necessity, and then you play into Ezreal Zed duo carry. I'm going to go through the comps, starting with the 1-cost rerolls. So Annie reroll here. It's the classic base super fans. So you'll always play these 3 super fans plus Echo, and then you'll have Annie Seraphine for KDA, Seraphine for KDA. Annie obviously is your carry. If you have Emo Annie, you don't need to play an Amumu. But if you don't have Emo Annie, Spellweaver Annie, I wouldn't recommend taking it, but I think it's still playable in the right spot. Obviously, if I had 5 Annies and I saw Spellweaver Annie, I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to try and force Emo Annie. You do just have to take that in that situation because you can no longer buy and sell headliners. So I would take Emo Annie, Spellweaver Annie, sorry, and I would probably play Amumu. Maybe I would play Full Guardian and add in a Thresh here. But this is the base comp on the left side. And then these are the units down here that you can like litter into the comp, for example. So you could go 5 Weaver with Sona and Ari. You could go 5 Weaver with Sona plus Lulu. Or you could even go 5 KDA by playing Ari plus like Akali or something like that. Or Full Guardian with Amumu plus Thresh. So this is basically the Annie comp. I think it's pretty similar to comps you'll see in this tier list as well. You're going to be seeing Lulu and Seraphine as well. They have pretty similar base. This is the Olaf Reroll comp. So I think it was also pretty good last patch, but you basically just want to play 6 Bruiser. If you have Pentakill Olaf here, for example, this board would be 5 Pentakill. You don't have to play Kayle or Karthus. These are situational. So you could play Kayle or you could play Karthus, but the idea is you basically get the 6 Bruiser board. Whether you have Bruiser or Pentakill Headliner, you can just remove Tom or whatever. You have the 6 Pentakill, 6 Bruiser board, and you add in Pentakill. So you have Olaf plus 2 Pentakill. And that will either be Yorick plus Kayle or Yorick plus Karthus. If you have Yorick, obviously you have Mosha with Set, but you want Guardian synergy. So you can also play Thresh if you want to. I played this Olaf comp with Kayle Reroll in the past, and I've had good success with it. Like you can mix the two together. But I've also played with Karthus, and I've hit the Olaf and gone straight up to level 8, rolled for my Alawi, rolled for my 6 Bruiser board, and then played Karthus 2-star as well. So I think you can play both Kayle Reroll with this board, and you can play Karthus, but you get to choose. It's quite flexible. Next, on the 1-cost rerolls, I also have Yasuo Reroll. Oh, item-wise, just for item-wise, I would say you always need Spark and Morello in these AP comps. So I would put Spark on Echo. Morello I would have on Seraphine probably. And then Anubis I have like just Shojin Ashes, and you can give her the super fan item. And then in this comp for like item wise, honestly you can slam anything on Olaf, like BT, Titan, Sterax, QSS. There's a lot of things you can put on him. You can even put a Rage Blade. So I wouldn't stress too much about having Biss. It's more about like how many Olafs you have in the situation. So if I had like 4 naturally, and then I hit Headliner Olaf, or I just naturaled about 7 Olafs, I would probably roll at Krugs. But item-wise, I wouldn't worry about Biss. These items are very flexible. Same with Kayle and Karthus. Like Shojin is kind of necessary on Karthus, and I like Rage Blade on Kayle, but honestly, I played a Kayle 3 with Shojin spell crit, and that worked fine. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Biss. It's kind of fake at the moment. Like it's more about how good is your situation to reroll what you're rerolling. Next, I have the Yasuo comp. I have IE, Hodge, QSS. I think QSS is necessary on Yasuo personally. And then obviously you need 40 AP on Akali to hit the break-even point where she keeps casting. So ways of making that, I mean, BT gives AP now, Hodge gives AP, and Titans gives you AP. So once it's fully stacked, so you can roll the damaged Hodge, which will give you 30% AP. And then that plus BT is automatically already at the 40 boundary. But then once your Titans is stacked, even if you don't have the damage Hodge rolled, you will be at the 40 AP boundary. So I quite like this build, but there are different builds you can build. You can do blue buff, guard breaker, both those give AP. All you want is to be at 40 AP. And then obviously Yasuo, you can go Edge of Night instead of QSS. You can build Death's Defiance if you hit the Ornn item. There's lots of different builds, but this is basic, similar like Riven to last patch. I think this comp is fine. I think the trouble is you actually kind of have to sweat the Yasuo positioning a bit. So like it can be very strong, but like also you can just lose to comps which I think are weaker. So for example, if Annie's casting on this Yasuo, like I'm gonna lose the fight 100%. So you do have to position, but like that's fine. You want an even shroud somewhere in the comp, even though it's true damage, I know, but like it's still efficient to have an even shroud. And then obviously like you can have Morello on Senna or Kayle. Next is Punk. I think the Punk comp's like decent. I mean, I personally don't enjoy playing Punk, and I don't play it that much, but I think in the right situation, obviously it's a very good comp to play. Jinx items wise, you can replace a lot of these items for like Runans, GS. Like there's a lot of flexible items. You can have red buff or Morello for your healing reduc. Either of these units will hold it. I love even shroud on Pantheon if I'm going to play this comp, and I'll probably put a redemption on him as well. But tank items, Warmogs, Bramble, Declaw, redemption, any of these items are fine. You just need even shroud plus 2 tank items. I like redemption Warmogs, redemption Bramble, something like that. Even gargoyles is fine, honestly. Like I actually think those items are all fine now. Next, and also you can play full Guardian at your level 8. Next, I have Seraphine Reroll. I mean, it's pretty similar to any reroll, right? You just have the Seraphine with items stacked. I think this is Shojin Morello, and you obviously get the death cap from superfans. I like having Spark on Echo and putting 2 tank items on him, but I have seen some people Spark second row Kennen, because then Kennen dies later. It's like if you played last set, there was a tech where you would have second row Swain with a redemption, and it would heal your front line, and like it would keep the Tarek alive from last set. And it's similar in the same idea where Kennen's going to die after Echo, so the Spark's alive for the longest period of time. I also like Shiv, so if you can't build Spark, you can build Shiv. You can build it on anyone. It's really good on Sona as well, if you get to this point. Obviously, you can tech in other things like full Guardian with the Annie comp. Like these comps are very similar, and their flexibility is the same. So you can tech in full Guardian here as well. You could tech in more KDA. This board assumes you have KDA Seraphine, because you get 5 KDA as well. But if you have Spellweaver, you could even play 7 Weaver. It's not the end of the world. There are different things. You can even drop Lulu and add another unit. and I had like a Kayle or something. And then onto 3-cost. Oh no, this is still 2-cost. So Katarina Reroll. I like Katarina Reroll a lot, but I only like it if I hit Crowd Diver. So in this situation, it's like I already have a Katarina Crowd Diver headliner. Maybe my board was open, maybe I was playing around Superfans, and then I hit a Katarina. I think that's what happened to me today. I was just playing around. These 3 Superfans is my opener, and I hit a Katarina Crowd Diver, and I just replaced whatever my current headliner was with it. I had Hodge slammed or something like that, and I just started teching into this comp. I like this comp a lot, but as I said, I only really like it with Crowd Diver Katarina. I've seen people play it with Country Katarina, and they top 4, but it's normally a 4th. But I wouldn't like force this comp unless you have Crowd Diver Katarina and good items for it. Idealism is a very, very good way to play this comp. Like if you have Idealism, you just get a free Hodge, or if you're already going towards this comp, it's a great augment to pick. Next we have and also obviously you have to hit Kiana later in the game. Like you're not gonna hit it until you're like level 8 or 9. So you need to stabilize and not roll too much gold. So I wouldn't roll 0 unless you're gonna like die first. But when you're playing this comp, you should always be like decently healthy because Katarina 2 stabilizes pretty well after the buffs. Edge of Night Zed is like this, so you can play dual carry with that. I think even Shroud isn't necessary, but I do like Spark, so you can keep that in mind. Next, I have Kayle Reroll. I think Kayle Reroll's fine. Like, I think it's good. I put it in A tier. It's just because the items are so flexible. I like the 7 Penta version. But the comp is very flexible. Like, you could drop 2 of these Penta units, say 1, and I don't know, for example, Mordekaiser, let's just say, and you could play Superfans instead. Like it is super flex. You could play Ken and Nico instead or something like that, and you get 4 Guardian. You can play the 7 Penta version. You can add in obviously you need Edgelord, so you have Kayle plus Viego. If you hit Kayn, obviously it's great to play Kayn, but you can just play Yone or something like that for Edgelord mid game. And if you stack Karthus, you can put in a Kayle or like another Executioner, but like assume that the board is basically without a Kayle unless you're stacking Karthus, because you're like, this is reroll for Kayle. Next comp, we have the 6 Xe comp. I count this as like kind of a 3-cost reroll because your main target is Amumu and Vex. Like you're happy with the Pantheon. I don't play this comp a lot, but situationally, it's if you hit like these punk units mid game, your econ's good and you have the items for it, you basically just put punk in and start like punk rolling for like a whole stage. And if you hit a lot of these units, like you can play it. If you don't, like it doesn't really hurt your econ too much and you can always pivot out for something else. But like that's how I play this comp. Like if I'm win streaking and I have like the punk duo, and then maybe I have a Mumu Vex, Twitch Pantheon. I'm just sitting there level 6, like 50 gold. And I'm just like punk rolling every turn. And then once I'm like confident that like I've like got a decent board, I'm gonna go 7 and slow roll at 7. I think most of these 2-cost comps, like I mean, especially this one because you have 3-cost as well. But like even Seraphine, even Kayle, even Katarina, I know you have better odds at 6. You have 40% odds for 2 costs. You have 35% at 7. It's like really not that big of a difference, and you can hit the 4 costs. So when I played my Katarina game today, I went 7. I just slow rolled for Zed, like at 7, because I was rolling for cats, but I was level 7, so I actually hit like I think I hit Zed too, because I rolled like 60 gold or something while I was rolling for cats, and Zed was just carrying as well. But if I'm staying 6, I'm probably spending like 10% less gold, 35% to 40%. Like I'm spending a little less gold, but there's no way I'm hitting Z2 at level 6. Like there's no way. So, and your board's also obviously more stable at level 7 because you get an extra unit. It's like having a Fawn, like a Force of Nature or a Tactician's Crown. So I like rolling at 7 for these comps, but obviously it's all situational. After that, I have MF Bard. This is like the Jazz comp, classic comp. I mean, it was strong before. I wouldn't play this comp unless I had that Jazz baby or like an insane spot for it. I think this is quite a situational comp, but I mean, it's strong at the moment. Obviously, if you have Morello, Ziggs is a great holder of it. You don't need to have red buff on MF. You can play like IE, Deathblade. Rageblade's okay. I mean, I've heard the delta on Rageblade, like having that item slammed isn't very good, but I mean, I played 2 games of it with Rageblade and I was fine. I think like Biss is fake, like honestly. I think like at the moment, this patch, the best thing to do is just like see what you're hitting. And if you have like items that are playable for that comp, just play it. Because there's going to be 2 or 3 guys in your lobby who are rerolling something else that are forcing it, and they're probably not hitting as much, like as easy as you are, because you're like naturally playing into a comp rather than forcing it. Next, I have level 8 comp. This is just Ahri, 7 KDA. I think honestly there are 3 level 8 comps you can play. You can play Ahri, you can play Pentakill, and you can play 80 flex. I mean, this is very basic board. You can change this for Evelyn or something like that. You don't have to play 7 KDA. You can also play 5 and then tack in more Spellweavers. But I think this board is fine. You can also play Ahri Sentinels. Like, it's still not awful. It's not a top 2 board. Like, it's fine. I don't really see 7 KDA top 2ing though. Like, I see it top 4. But I think this is like the kind of board you have to play if you're like forced out of Seraphine Reroll or something like that. I wouldn't aim to play this board. Or like, for example, you're trying to play 80 flex mid game, so you have blue buff or something like that, and red buff, blue buff, red buff, but like you've lost too much HP and you don't think you can win out, so you like take out hard steel after 1 cash and then like play towards this board and then play for like a 4th or something. But I wouldn't like play towards this comp. Finally, I have what I think is the best comp in the game at the moment. 80 flex. So you want to play hard steel mid game, like 3 or 5. If you raise the stakes, great. I love to raise the stakes, but you don't have to. There are many variations of this comp, and that's what makes it so OP. You can like get rid of Zac and play Set, and then if you have Set with 2 Bruiser, then you have Mosha trait that you need to activate. So you can put Yorick in, and then you have Mosha with Set, and then maybe you want to play Zac as well. So I can show you if I take, not Zac, sorry, Thresh as well. So for example, if I drop this Zac, I can play Thresh, Set, Yorick. So this is another version. Another version is you can add the Zed back in. If you don't hit a Lowy, you can just play Zed plus Zac. And then, I mean, you can drop the Kayn and play the Yorick. There are many different ways of playing this comp. The fundamental board you're gonna stick with, like in most scenarios, is this backline, not the Jhin, but Ezreal, MF, Senna / Caitlyn / Aphelios plus Lucian. So it's going to be MF Ezreal, Lucian plus a rapid fire is your standard backline. Your standard frontline is almost always a Lowy plus 1 bruiser, whether it be Zac or Set. If you play Set, you're probably playing Yorick plus Thresh. If you play Zac, you're probably playing Zed plus another crowd diver. And that's just because the way the traits work with the Jazz value, it's really worth it. I love playing Zed. Like, I really don't often play this comp without Zed unless I have like a big shot emblem from Heartsteel caching and I hit big shot Ezreal. I have this Jhin here just to show you that if you do hit big shot Ezreal, you can still play MF and you can just go for big shot. If I hit a big shot emblem, I'll probably play it on Lucian. I'm 5 big shot. I'll just drop the Senna. Like, it doesn't make that big of a difference. I don't know, I'll play a Kai'Sa and have 6 big shot. It's very flexible, and the best way to learn this comp is just play it a load. Like, I really do think it's the best comp this set, and it's super fun. Like, you get to play Heartsteel mid-game, you get to raise the stakes. It's a really good way of like learning this patch and like learning to play this set in general. So I recommend playing this comp if you have a good spot for it, which is just Heartsteel mid-game. I've played it with Heartsteel just 2-1. I've had Heartsteel. I've forced this comp before. I think it's a really good way of hitting first, and I think in this current patch, since there are so many rerollers, it's very hard to hit first if you're not playing like this hard steal comp, because you can't guarantee that you're going to hit your units before like everyone else if you're playing like a 2-cost reroll, and you can't guarantee you cap higher. But this comp caps at 9. You get legendaries in, you get to 2-star your whole board, you get jazz value, and you get hard steal cash out. So you have an edge on everyone else. That's all for the tier list. So I'll go back to the image. AD Flex I think is the best. I don't like Annie, Seraphine, Bard, and the other level 8 comps that much. I think Annie and Seraphine get outscaled like quite quickly. The only thing I might change here is putting Yasuo in B, but I've had a lot of good success with Yasuo. I think it is just like a difficult comp to play, just positioning wise. And then obviously I haven't gone through the Twin Terror comp, but it's the same as last patch. Jack's very situational. If you hit the on item, like Sonya, something like that, and have a good start for it. And then Yo and Riven I don't recommend playing because it's very hard to hit them now. But I have played them a couple of times, and it's like when I've had like the Titan's Resolve Augment and a Titan Slammable first round or something like that with an Olaf opener, I can just like have someone carry the Yoni items. And then Riven I've played when I have like IE and mid game, and I've thought, okay, I can't play Heartsteel here, and I've naturaled like 3 Rivens. Like I'm just gonna force Riven here because I already have 3 natural Rivens. I can hit 3 off having a headliner. Like I should be fine. So yeah, that is what I think. I think it's a pretty like decent patch. I mean, there's a lot of reroll. There's not that many level 8 comps, and the level 8 comps I don't think are that strong except for AD Flex. But I mean, I'm still enjoying the patch. So if you want to like catch any gameplay, feel free to check out the channel. I also stream on Twitch, so you can see me playing a lot of these comps. I probably haven't played anything apart from these comps this patch so far, but I've had a lot of success. I climbed like 300 LP today playing these comps. So yeah, check out the videos, and thank you so much. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And you guys are the goats if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you.